We saw you assault some people, so we want you to be held accountable.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by LRN.FM. Feds don't want you to hear them.
We were in the Nashua District Court for a trial regarding so-called disorderly conduct for Big Mike, who is one of the activists that moved here as part of the Free State Project, and really proceeded to jump into the frying pan, if you will.
Well, I called earlier today and I left him a voicemail message and wanted to talk to him. I was going to go out today in the community and ask people what they think, if people should go to jail for having a marijuana bud like this.
He got active right out the gate and put his personal safety on the line for the freedom of other human beings, in this case standing in front of a police car while they were arresting a peaceful young man for having a marijuana cigarette.
4 cameras recording.
Oh, that's right. So they're standing in front. Somebody ordered the court security bureaucrats to stand in front of the video cameras in the courtroom.
Either that or they did it on their own.
This is an ostensibly public trial where the media is supposed to be allowed to record. You know, there have been a Supreme Court decision that affirms this.
It makes you wonder, what are they trying to hide?
It was just so silly. But there was more than that later on.
Several people wearing hats.
And then the man in the robe actually did end up ruling on the motion to record after the trial was over. And what he said was, and I'm going to have to paraphrase, there is video of this, but what he said was essentially that, well, I'm going to rule on this motion to record, but it doesn't matter because there were people recording anyway, or I hadn't granted permission to record, but people were recording anyway, so this is moot.
He handed down the ruling for Mike, or his merciful sentence, which was suspended.
$1,200 suspended.
Yes.
He'll kind of pander to the idea of like, well, I understand what you're doing, and I...
Yeah, he basically said that.
And I certainly appreciate and respect differences of opinion with regard to what the law is and laws. As I'm sure you know...
I'm sorry, were you talking about like the start of the initial arrest?
I'm talking about
this particular law.
I understand that there were a group of people here in Nashua at this time who objected to the law that has been provided by the legislature as it relates to marijuana. I respect that. I also understand that this court is one of the 3 branches of government, and we're not the branch that makes the law.
Yeah, I support your right to do these things, but the law is the law, and we elected the legislature to make these laws, and it is my job to do this, so I am finding you guilty. So that was that, and as usual after the trial...
You're a public servant, you're being paid with my money, and there's no reason for you to just look at the audience and roll your eyes and laugh at people for no reason.
Hey, folks, you can watch
almost just hit
Come
me
on,
in the
next
face.
trial, please.
People kind of pour out of the courtroom, and the cops come out, and we have video cameras, so we kind of encounter them with the video cameras and ask them questions, and they never answer the questions, and they kind of rush themselves down the stairs, and normally they cross the street and they go over into a nearby a nearby a little pizza parlor next door.
So what do you think about your job? I mean, how do you feel about that?
So he covered one door, I covered the other door, and Ademo was there from libertyountour.com as well. So we had at least 3 cameramen outside of this restaurant. Yeah. And, of course, this cop did not want to answer these questions, and so we followed him around for a while. And he was doing nothing at all but just walking around. Like, he had nowhere he was going.
Sure, he was running interference for the other guys.
That's right. Exactly. And so he's walking down the street, and I kind of walk out in front of him, and he's telling us that we can't record him, and that he's off duty, and that he needs to give us permission to record.
So you're not going to respect my opinion as a person.
You're a cop, right? You're here to protect the serf.
I'm not on duty right now.
So you're not on duty.
I'm not on duty right now.
Doesn't matter. You're in public. Okay. We saw you assault some people, so we want you to be held accountable for that. So do you go around and assault people on a daily basis, or was it just that day at the Nashua 420 rally? So tell me about your job. Like, do you often?
One of his buddies shows up in a cruiser and rescues him. Right, mm-hmm. Like he's finally
picks him up and off he goes.
He finally gets in his cruiser and they take off.
Where are you going?
He's come to your rescue. Hop in.
Sir, you're being audio and video recorded.
Good thing he showed up, huh?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Don't have to answer any other tough questions.
Then blue line.
Keep hurting innocent people now. Bye.
Nope, can't do that.
Federal agents on the streets of Keene, New Hampshire. They're investigating reports of an unlicensed radio station said to be broadcasting LRN.FM. So why all the fuss? What is LRN.FM? Well, it's probably not something these agents want you to listen to. It's a 24-hour news talk broadcast, all pro-liberty. A true authoritarian free zone. Tune in at LRN.FM to listen or broadcast their signal. LRN.FM. Feds don't want you to hear them.